Hey folks, my name is Dana. I'm the host of Stimulated Boredom. Now, some of you are tuning into this channel for the first time, so you have no idea who I am, and you're probably thinking to yourself, who the hell is this idiot? Why am I listening to him talky? For other folks, you know exactly who I am because you've been listening to Stimulated Boredom for the last few years, either through iTunes or Live 365. So what I'm going to do is probably make this message twofold, which is to unapologetically pander to brand new listeners, as well as provide an update to some of the folks who've been listening to the show for the last 4 years. Now, if you're new to Stimulated Boredom, it's a purposeful oxymoron where it is actually an internet talk show where it's uncensored, it's unedited because the FCC does not regulate the internet. So therefore, each week as the show is recorded, we discuss everything from history, news, science, social issues, abortion, race, obviously talking about the election coming up in 2008. Sometimes it is educational nature, other times it is just strictly opinion and sarcasm, and sometimes it is just funny as far as just talking about video games or movies and so forth like that. So basically the name is what it suggests, is that it's there to stimulate your boredom, which hopefully is to stimulate your mind, among other things, but I don't want to know about those other things. But if you haven't had a chance to tune into the program, you can tune in on live365.com. You can also go to the website, which is stimulatedboredom.com. In fact, I think if the camera zooms in for a moment, again, promotional whore, this is stimulatedboredom.com. That you guys can go to, which allows you to send emails, go to a message board that lets you listen to the program through the stimulatedboredom.com website. If you're on MySpace, you can go to myspace.com/stimulatedboredom, and certainly feel free to send me a friend request if you are on MySpace and listening to the program. But mostly for the new listeners, I wanted to introduce the program because it's always an audio show. Every single week, usually on a Friday or Saturday, I record for about 5 or 6 hours, and I talk about everything, whether it's stem cell research, if I'm talking about abortion, if I'm talking about evolution and natural selection. A lot of times I'll talk about religion, which is a huge topic on the show. A lot of politics, kind of reading through a lot of the spin and the bullshit that you find in politics, and therefore that's where Stimulated Boredom has kind of found a home as far as being uncensored and unfiltered. Now, uncensored does not necessarily mean that it's profane. There is profanity on the program, which is kind of the Tourette's that I'm unable to control when it comes to talking about politics, but it's not a profane show for the sake of being profane. But it runs from Monday to Monday, so it's available every single week. If you go to iTunes and go to the music store, you can actually type in Stimulated Boredom. You'll find me there. You can download the segments, put it into your iPod, carry it with you on the subway or when you're traveling through the streets and stimulating your boredom as you're going into the office or something along those lines. So, but this is my first video cast for Stimulated Boredom. Most folks just know my voice and perhaps a couple pictures from the stimulatedboredom.com website or from MySpace, which there's plenty of pictures available on there. But a lot of listeners have been requesting that there be a video cast of the program. Now, obviously, I can't record 5 or 6 hours on video. Just the fact of looking in that little camera right now is making me feel very weird, like all of you are a bunch of voyeurs, and you guys are wondering if I'm even wearing pants underneath all of this, which, you know what, I'm not even going to tell you whether or not I'm wearing pants. You can just guess and use your imagination whether or not I'm wearing pants. But for folks who've been listening to the show for the last 4 years, which is when I started after the 2004 election, they've been tuning in and week out, sending in emails. Stimulated Boredom is actually listened to in all 50 states, over 75 countries. So getting emails from China, from Malaysia, from England, from Australia, from France, from any other country, Spain. Who else is there? Sweden, yeah. Even have listeners in South America, Argentina, etc. You get the point. But then, of course, all of the continental 50 states also listen to the program as well. But primarily, it is just simply taking issues that most people either have an opinion on, because I certainly have an opinion on just about everything, and just discussing it in detail on the program, providing all the different sides, of course, providing my opinion, which I won't lie to you, I'm a strongly opinionated person, but I put a premium on seeing all sides of the debate before I come to what that opinion is, and a lot of times you'll hear me kind of go through that process on the program itself. But for those who've been tuning in for a long time, this is going to be, I guess, the Stimulated Boredom video channel on YouTube. It'll probably also be available as a video podcast on iTunes, which I figure out how the hell to do that. It took me long enough to figure out how to get the audio segments on iTunes, but fortunately that's kind of taking care of itself now at this point. And I'll also probably be posting videos perhaps on stimulatedboredom.com, on the MySpace profile. That way folks can kind of stay up to date with the different episodes. Now, I have no idea what it is that I plan to do with the video cast, I think what I'll do is take major segments from the Stimulated Boredom program. Let's say the first segment is usually the biggest issue of the day or of the week, so generally I discuss that in a lot of detail so that the listeners have a chance to fully understand the issue, especially if it relates to the election. And since I talk about politics quite a bit, it's kind of like Christmas season, and I sell Christmas trees. So I make sure to remember where my bread is buttered, and I talk a lot about the political process, but it's not just simply taking one side or the other. I'm a staunch independent when it comes to politics, so I try to look at all debates. But at the same time, I try to provide all of the information or a foundation of information for the listeners to be able to make up their own minds if at all possible. But the show is very heavy in sarcasm. Usually not wearing any pants when I am doing the show because I like to do the show with my pants down. It's just kind of what I do. And my cat here, who's not understanding why I'm talking to this little camera there. You see that? Anyway, so I'm sure this is very compelling television, YouTube vision, right? Did I just make up a word? YouTube vision? Sure, why not? For all of you, but mainly wanted to introduce Stimulated Boredom to anybody who's finding this channel and learning about it for the first time. And if you are a staunch listener or a loyal listener of Stimulated Boredom, you're going, well, that's what Dana looks like. He's kind of an artard. That's fantastic. I'd rather just go back to the audio side of it. But each week I think that I will probably either record almost like a kind of a special comment, or I'll take a big issue of the day and I'll just kind of condense it into a visual cliff notes of some sort on the video cast. So there'll be the video cast. There's also the podcast that's available on iTunes, Gcast. You can also hit the RSS feed if you want to use my Google or my Yahoo. And or you can go to stimulatedboredom.com, which you can listen to the program there as well. There's a message board. Or you can go through the MySpace profile, so I'll just continue to whore every single website that I have, and that's myspace.com/stimulatedboredom. And hopefully this first video cast wasn't a complete disaster, which I'm pretty sure it was. And hopefully you'll tune back for future segments, because I've got to get this one out of the way so that I can spend the future casts talking about stuff that actually matters. So I want to say thank you very much for tuning into the Stimulated Boredom video channel on YouTube or wherever it is that you're finding it. And hopefully you'll come back and tune in again. So hopefully I've pandered enough to all of you. And if you're any of my loyal listeners who've been tuning in for a long time, hope you're getting a kick out of this right now, because normally you have to just hear me talk and I'm talking to a computer screen while I'm doing the show. And now I have to actually talk to this little big brother eyeball that's staring into my soul, so I'm getting a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to go ahead and close out the show. Thanks for tuning in. StimulatedBoredom.com is the website. Again, you can find it on iTunes. You can also go to myspace.com/stimulatedboredom. And you can email me anytime at dana@stimulatedboredom.com. So thanks very much for tuning in to whatever the hell this was. Thanks.